Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chokkavelu, and we've got longtime fools Lou Whiteman and Travis Hoium giving a 1 to 10 rating to the kind of company that would steal another fool favorite CEO. It's Starbucks, ticker symbol SBUX. I got a little heart on my coffee today. First, we'll rate the strength of Starbucks business, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Lou's at an 8. Travis is at a 6. I think we're going to see a theme today. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I'm pretty low here. Now, I am not the coffee drinker in the house, but the resident coffee drinker here at the Hoium house says that Starbucks has changed a lot over the past few years, in particular, going through the pandemic. You know, everything had to change during the pandemic, and I think Starbucks kind of became an assembly line. It lost a little bit of that culture, a little bit of that, flavor, that the experience of going into a store. Now, these are all things that we'll talk about Brian Niccol in a little bit, but the things that they're trying to bring back. But I think the experience today and the business today is showing us that people just aren't all that excited to go to Starbucks for what seems like an assembly line experience where even the staff is just kind of annoyed that you're there. So that's, every store is going to be a little bit different when there's thousands and thousands of stores. But I think there's a little bit of that magic that's gone at Starbucks.
I think that underestimates just the inherent strength of this business. I mean, 17,000 plus locations in the US alone, 35,000 if you look internationally, one of the top selling brands in grocery stores too. So it's not just about that barista experience. They aren't perfect. I joke a lot that, some major percentage of global greenhouse emissions is just people idling in the Starbucks drive-through. So they do need to get orders made faster. There's certainly competition, but the brand is outstanding. The business is solid. We'll separate out the stock. I have other thoughts about the stock, but overall, the business gets an 8.
I tend to agree with Lou, but I have to admit with Travis's point, man, you want me to not go to the Starbucks? Don't let me use the mobile app. Like actually ordering and that human experience. And if I say thank you to folks as I pick up my mobile order, no one even knows that I'm saying thank you because it's just.
Hey, you got a heart. You're
invisible.
On your thing. You got a heart.
That's true. I did get a heart. They didn't want to spell my name. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett. A 1 is Homer Simpson. Both of you have 7s, Travis.
Yeah, this is kind of a to be determined. Brian Niccol, I think, is saying all the right things. In preparation here, I went back through and what is he saying about strategy? What is he presenting to investors? Maybe we're not seeing those things in the stores yet. So can he do his magic again like he did at Chipotle? Look, if he does, he is going to be a legendary CEO. But so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 7's a pretty high score, but it's really to be determined until maybe 4 or 5 years from now.
By the way, they definitely didn't want to spell your name because they never spell my name right. Okay. So, that's just 3 letters. But yeah, Brian Niccol, we don't have to rehash the reputation. He has earned that reputation, though. And new to Starbucks, but I think he has articulated a pretty good playbook, simplifying the menu, going back to the culture before it was commoditized. I like the idea of finding a partner in China and divesting some of that and kind of doing that alone. I think that's a real strong move. I'm only at a 7 because of the Howard Schultz factor. Howard can be a meddler, as we know. He seems on board. He said he did cartwheels when he saw Niccol's plan. I'd actually like to see that. But I'd like to see that. But look, going off track record here, yes, he's new to the job. But, CEO, this is a strength, not a weakness at Starbucks.
I would love a Starbucks cup with Lou's name spelled Loo or however they spell it.
LU normally.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For financials, a 10 is a fortress. A 1 is yikes. Both of you have 5s.
Yeah. Sales are flat. Net income over the past 10 years, the compound annual growth rate is just 1%. That net income is actually down about 25% since 2021. So just looking at what we have in the business and in the financials over the past decade, not a ton to really get excited about. Now, there's a possibility of a turnaround with Niccol leading that, but we're not seeing that yet. That's why I went relatively low here.
Yeah, back before when I said separate the company from the stock. Here we go, right? Last quarter was lousy. Slow growth, disappointing earnings, margins are down, operating costs up 9%. That has been a continuation of a trend. That wasn't a one-off. Look, Starbucks is a massive company. It's profitable, but the momentum is gone. Fools, I'll mention the balance sheet looks terrible here, but that's largely due to accounting for operating leases. So I'm not worried about that. But in short, everything is meh. And, I think we can talk about Nichols restarting growth. I obviously like him, but I don't think we can just assume it all works out and give him credit for it yet. So I am right down the middle of the five.
Right, let's talk valuation, Lou. I'm excited for this. How well will Starbucks stock do over the next 5 years? Safe is it? 10's a sure thing, one's a lottery ticket.
So this is where we can assume, right? And look, I do think Nickel will improve things. I think some of the issues, though, facing Starbucks are bigger than any just one management team. I think there is, law of large numbers, and it's, hard to grow substantially and just kind of recreate the magic that you had when you're small. I ended up at 5 to 10%. Yeah, stock is not cheap, trading 35 times expected earnings. I see this as a market perform, hopefully at the high end, thanks to that 2.6% dividend. For safety, I'm at a 7. Starbucks is a reliable income generator. It isn't going anywhere, even if it's just not necessarily a growth stock in my mind.
I think we just need to set really low expectations for Starbucks. And it's very possible that there is a turnaround, that we do see revenue growth, that margins expand, all of those things. But the reality today is that a lot of that is already priced in. Like Lou said, the stock trades for 35 times earnings. That should be a company that's growing at least in the mid to high single digits. That's not what we have. So that's why I set those return expectations low at 0 to 5%. That's positive, but that still assumes that they grow into their valuation. And from a safety perspective, look, if things don't go well, a restaurant company that's not growing, where profitability is shrinking, should be trading for more like 10 to 15 times earnings. That could mean multiple compression, not multiple expansion. So that's why I don't think it's a very safe stock either. So I'll be the negative Nelly here and just say that I think these expectations for Nickel are a little bit high.
Travis, we were talking before the show. I get the rationale. It's hard for me to imagine with all the companies out there that Starbucks rates a 4 in safety, even if you argue overvaluation a bit. I guess I'm focusing on the fundamental business. Let's move on to top it. Lou, is there a company in Starbucks space that you like better?
I know I'm supposed to say Dutch Brothers because I know that's a favorite around here. And I am excited. The first Dutch Brothers in Georgia is coming, just like I could ride my bike there. So I'm excited to try it. But look, I just don't like fast growth restaurant stocks because there's always a ceiling. I can't go there. Tempted to say Sprouts. I don't even know if they sell Starbucks on the shelves, but in general, I'd much rather just kind of an income generator in food and retail. And so I'm more on the Sprout side than one of these coffee chains.
Yeah, and I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'll just stick to the kind of the restaurant side. And really the only stock that I own and that I'm a little bit excited about is Portillo's. That's probably a broken record if you've watched a bunch of these over the past year or two. But it's, a good value, relatively good growth. They're also going to be entering Lou's neck of the woods. So maybe he'll be, helping out our stock by going to Portillo's every now and again.
Yeah, maybe he can ride his bike and still gain weight going to Dutch Brothers and getting Portillo's. Thank you to Travis, Lou, and to Lou's Bike. They've given Starbucks an overall score of 5.7 out of 10. That was shockingly low to me, but you see the rationale, earlier in the video. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Target. Till then, Fool on.
All right, what are we doing first? SBUX. You know that my wife's name on the Motley Fool is SBUX Lady for Life.